Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. This is the last beer from Minnesota sent in from Sean, so thanks Sean for the beer. This is the Surly Brewing Company's Bender. It's a 5.1% ABV, 45 IBUs. Surly is out of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and if you read to the back, it says it's an oatmeal brown ale. And it sounds like it's going to be pretty confectionery and all that stuff, so let's get into it. Alright, using my Newcastle brown ale glass. I don't think it's very clean, but we'll use it anyways. Typical brown, I mean it's straight up dark brown. It might look black on camera, but it's very dark brown. Head's nice, kind of dark khaki, frothy creaminess. Not as aromatic as the other Surly beers. It's kind of a, yeah, kind of like a brown ale, kind of smell a little confectionery notes in there. You know, I get like hop flowers in here too. Very floral for a brown ale. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. You know, the back of the can says oatmeal brown ale. This is more like a brown IPA. The first thing I noticed as soon as it hit my tongue was bitterness. Like I said with the nose, I was like, wow, there's a lot of flowers in here. There's a lot of hops in here for a brown ale. So the whole first half is kind of a, it's like a kind of like an IPA or maybe just like an American Pale Ale up front. And the second half is when you get the traditional oatmeal or well, brown ale qualities. Yeah, like a lot of toffee. I got like some nice toasted malts in there. Overall general sweetness, like kind of like a candy bar kind of, you know, melange of those kinds of flavors on the back end. Yeah, so it's weird because it's like it's crisp and like hoppy up front, but then the second half turns into like a more traditional, you know, like brown ale style where it's more soft and you know, not completely tepid, but just, you know, a lot less crisp than an IPA would be. I haven't really had too many brown IPAs, and you know, I don't think this is intended to be a brown IPA. I mean, that's for the brewing nerds to decide between the difference between a very hoppy brown ale and a brown IPA. But yeah, this is really interesting, really tasty, nice complex palate there. Getting some nice lacing on the glass. I'm going to take a little break and we'll come back with my final thoughts on the Surly Bender. Alright, final thoughts on the Surly Bender. I really like this beer. I was really impressed by it. And I had a really tough time deciding between an 8 and a 9. My general rule of thumb is that if you can't decide between two grades, you should always err on the lower end, because if it was the higher grade, you would know it for sure. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for the Surly Bender. It's a very good beer. I think this is kind of like where the line is drawn between a very hoppy brown ale and a brown IPA proper. I might actually fault it for that because it's so, like, they made a point of saying lightly hoppy on here. I think it's like, maybe not heavily hop, but more than lightly hoppy, because the hops actually kind of overshadow the brown ale palate. You know, at the beginning I was getting a lot of that candy bar kind of flavor of like chocolate caramel and like kind of a nuttiness, like a Snickers bar. But the hops kind of outshine that, and I'm now just kind of get a lot of bitterness, and like those flavors are a lot more subtle on the finish. As far as drinkability, it's very drinkable. Mouthfeel isn't as thick and sticky as you would expect. In fact, it's not that at all. It's on like the sort of lower end of medium bodied. It's noticeably carbonated, so it has like a little bit of a fizz to it. But it's not getting stuck in my throat, so you can just keep slugging it down. Hops linger a little bit on the tongue in the aftertaste, so there's like slightly drying kind of quality to it. So I don't think I would session this, even though it's only 5.1% ABV, because I think the hops would get a little annoying after a while. But this would be a great beer to have with a dinner of pretty much any kind of style, I think. And as I said before, especially with the bitter brewer, that they can, you know, get that much flavor out of like only 5.1, you know, that's I mean, 'cause like drinking this, if I didn't know what it was, I think it'd probably be like 8%. So 5.1, that's really amazing. So thanks to Sean and Matt who sent me all the Surly beers. That does it for this episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. Thanks for watching. Cheers.